Welcome to the Port Charles Update with your hosts, Mish and Mel.
Hello.
Well, hello there.
So, are you packing? Are you getting ready? Are you excited?
I am excited. However, I am stress eating a donut. So if you hear chewing, that is what is happening. I still have lots of packing to go. I kind of do like a first run and then I do like a second run. But I have decided to alleviate some stress to give Brandon some tasks. He is in charge. He was in charge of wrapping presents, the dog packing,
Oh,
and his packing. And I'm doing kids, myself, and snacks because usually I do it all except for his. And I want to like cry and never leave the house.
all
So.
tonight? You're doing that all tonight.
No, I started with the kids already. It's just mine and snacks because snacks is hard to like pre-pack because I want to do like some different things. But we're going in the right direction. I have my list and I'm just ready to knock the extra stuff off and like
You have
revise.
your list and you're checking it twice, right?
Yes, indeed I am.
So, why don't you tell people where you're going and what's happening and why you're packing?
Oh, that's a very valid point.
Other than
I'm
she's
running.
stressed and packing.
I'm running away from home. No, I am actually going back home, which is Montreal is my home. I live in London, Ontario,
To
and
see
that's why
me.
this right to come and see you. So I'll actually be in the same place at the same time, watching a few episodes of GH together, and I
Yeah.
am super duper excited about that.
So, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
So until then, let's talk about a little cuckoo of ours. So Charlotte,
Do you accept my apology? He is not
oh
accepting
my,
my apology.
she's so crazy. I was like, she's so scary, and I'm like, why? What's happening? Like, I am so surprised. Like, first of all, did you even catch the way that Liz even looked at Charlotte to start with?
I did. I liked
It
it.
was really funny. Like, this is probably one of the times I'm fully on Liz's side. But I was just surprised that they kind of encouraged the praising of Charlotte because she apologized.
I know that completely threw me off. I'm like, Lulu, I expected better from her because I'm sorry. Yes, she could apologize, but the fact that she said, oh, she whined about him not accepting, Aiden not accepting her apology, I just thought that was a little excessive. And there could have been a teaching moment at that point in time.
Yeah, it's important to say that you're sorry, but it's understanding that it's that person's choice whether or not to accept it. And if they don't, that's their right. And you kind of have to deal with that. And it's also accept responsibility whether or not they accept your apology or not. Look, it's one thing to praise her for, let's just say, doing the right thing in air quotes, but in front of Liz, really?
I know.
You're gonna do that there? She's just like, my kid looks terrified still. He still looks completely not happy. And here we are rewarding her. And not one
Oh,
person tells Liz afterward that though Charlotte apologized and will no longer bully him, a bunch of other people will.
I know. I'm like, hello, crucial part of information here to somebody who genuinely needs it and her son is suffering and hurting. What is happening right now?
I don't know. I just thought that was insane. And so, okay, so you have that scene. I don't know. Like, I'm happy Elizabeth, asked Aiden in front of them, do you want to accept it? I thought that was important too, because why isn't anybody recognizing that Aiden was not okay and didn't seem okay with her? And he wasn't just acting weird. This is a person that's been harassing him. He's kind of like, don't want you in my house. This is like my safe space, the one place where I'm not taunted and you're here. And
Exactly.
no one really reacted to that. And I was like, okay, sure, sure. I really was expecting more. Like, I mean, it went how it went and it wasn't terrible or anything, but I would have enjoyed some yelling.
I would have too, just taking it up a notch and Liz really having at it that, and really explaining that, it's not just that Aiden is sad. Aiden has gone through basically hell and high water that a kid shouldn't have, and she's seen the changes in him. And like none of that was expressed for them to truly understand what's going on.
I'm just surprised because typically Elizabeth doesn't hold back in telling people that they're crappy.
True. She does like doing that.
So that really surprised me. So then Franco walks in and she sort of tells him the person who bullied him showed up and apologized, and he goes, so it's over. But the funny thing was is that, did you notice that right after Franco says so it's over, they then transition to a psycho killer investigation? I was just like, is this some kind of
Oh.
foreshadowing? I don't even
I
know. I don't even know. I guess for me, I had already had it in my mind that Charlotte was just a little psycho, and then they transfer over. I'm like, is this a foreshadowing? Will she kind of like take over the bad crazy of the Cassadines? I'd like
Oh
to think
my
that
God.
Spencer is the good crazy of the Cassadines, but then I wonder if she'll be the bad crazy of like this upcoming generation.
Like the Helena, because with the look that she gave Aiden and that whole like I'm sorry, but in a split second turned to cold, like
Ice
from warm
Queen.
to cold so quickly, I was really like, wow, look at you go, girl. You've got some acting chops. Like,
No, they were really good. Even Aiden was so sweet. I thought they both acted and did the whole thing really well. But yeah, I was just so curious about that particular transition. Another thing too. Okay, so Liz is typically not my favorite person, but when she was alone with Aiden and she was all hugging him and everything, it almost felt like she wasn't acting because she was so likable and sweet with him. And I don't know if I felt that way because I have boys, and just watching her do that felt really, really familiar. So I don't know. She seemed different.
oh, I didn't pick up on that, but yeah, that is quite nice.
She was super adorable with him. Okay, so I'm already thinking about something that kind of bothers me. So we kind of
Okay.
mentioned Franco already, and he comes home and he has additional bad news for Elizabeth. So she's dealing with one thing after another. I'm
Yes.
sorry. He is literate, and he did read Cameron's messages, and he did know where Cameron was headed. Why did you not follow him? In the message, you see him having an argument with a drug dealer. Did you think Cam could handle that?
Okay, but here's the thing. Remember that hospital door? Remember when Kiki left and he tried to run after, but those hospital doors stopped him? I think that that same force field prevented him from getting to camp.
Oh my, that it had like that. It has to be the only explanation because it just didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense. I mean, those messages were urgent and
Hmm.
kind of angry, you know? Like the drug dealer didn't seem all too happy with Cam.
Exactly. Let's go with the force field.
Oh gosh. So I hated that whole thing. And come to find out the drug dealer appears to be a rich kid.
That was annoying. He was like, I'm sorry, deals don't go down like that. And he was an annoying little brat.
I was like, okay, so you're forcing him to buy the weed, sure. But then you get to the police station and you keep saying, my dad will sue you all. And I'm like, what? I'm just like, you're making it seem like your dad is a big deal, like he's rich or something. I don't know if his dad's also a drug dealer, but I just thought that was really interesting.
It was. It was
You
very.
have a ton of weed in your bag. Like the cop was right there. She wasn't even that far away. Like she saw that whole thing.
I know that was, and then Valerie, of course, pulls out the gun and everything. Poor Cam. I thought he was gonna have a heart attack.
Okay, so I'm I'm confused here. The thing is,
Okay.
Valerie is Luke's niece, and Luke is also Cameron's fake grandpa. In that scene at the police station, Cameron calls Lulu Aunt Lulu, and Valerie is
Uh,
Lulu's cousin. So I'm just saying, aren't they kind of like family? And couldn't she just let it go? Like, does that make like does that make it a little like you can you arrest family? I guess so if they break the law. But I mean, come on, he's your family.
well,
He's your cousin's nephew. Doesn't that make it your nephew? Is that not how it works?
the poor child's family tree is a very unusual, use to your favor type situation. Um,
Right.
maybe Val just wasn't caught up on the latest lessons of Cam.
Now that I've pointed this out, something else is crossing my mind. Because Elizabeth's a nurse and she's always worked with Bobby. But I forgot about the fact that, well, obviously she dated Lucky, but like the actual related thing, like, so Bobby's sort of like her family also. Didn't really occur to me
They're
until
all
right
sort
now.
of
They're all
family.
kind of family. Oh man. So poor Cam gets arrested trying to do the right thing. That wasn't good. I mean, all this to not buy weed, honestly. He bakes. He decides to just bake brownies. Now, this is also not making any sense to me.
I
He
know.
decides against the weed and to bake. So he's making good choices. I'm going to bake brownies with my grandma.
Aw.
I'm going to really not buy weed a lot. Like, I'm going to tell this dealer multiple times. I'm also going to go to Charlie's and tell him to his face, hey, I'm not buying the weed. and then he gets arrested.
I think that Cam needs another love interest to make Joss jealous.
That you went there. like, like Cam at the police station getting in trouble. And you're like, I think he needs love in his life. Romantic love specifically. And I think he should aim for to get Jocelyn. Okay. All right, we get it. We know you're pro chaos, Cameron and Joss. But before we get to that love triangle, so Elizabeth's mad. She's super
Yeah.
mad about him getting arrested. And then she also sort of makes him feel bad about it. I mean, it's true, but I felt like he already feels really bad. She's like, you could
Like
have
me,
killed
dude.
Oscar. I was
Poor
like,
kid's
really?
like, it's
I'm
like
like,
not only was I trying to do something good, but I could have possibly killed my friend. I was like,
I
whoa, dude.
know. Okay, so I mean, I like that she was upset with him, but I also like that she did just stop and hug him.
Yeah, me
So
too.
I mean, like I said, Liz isn't my favorite person, and it's just the way that they film her. They don't tend to film her parenting, and a lot of the times when she is parenting, it doesn't always go super well. But with Cameron, multiple times she hugs him. So they have a thing. They have a parenting thing. She may need to do more, but she does tend to hug him, which is good. Good stuff.
To make
Good
up for
call.
the parenting, she gives him some hugs. Like,
She
I'm not
does.
around
She gave
and I'll talk too much, but here's a hug.
She hugged him, but the thing is, everyone else acknowledged that he did a good thing in a bad way. You know, the lawyer even acknowledged this. So Alexis says
Yeah.
this when she leaves that you did a good thing. Sam even acknowledges this when she finds out, hey, he did a good thing. So what confused me was so they sorted out and everything, and he has to go sign for stuff, Cameron. And you have Franco and Liz that are left to sort of chat on their own. And then she's like, when will he learn? And I'm always curious. Learn what? How many times is being arrested for trying to not buy weed
The
for a
thing
friend
is,
who has cancer and who's dying? I'm super confused with that. I mean, he's not a bad kid.
no, but it goes back to the fact that her parenting skills, like she didn't listen to him. She like she heard what she wanted to hear. She didn't actually hear him out and his well-intentioned mission and what he wanted to do. She just saw Cam in trouble, arrested, jail. Oh, he does something good. Hug. Forgot that. We're back to
It
what
was,
was
and I mean, look, I think it's important. I mean, her job is different than everyone else's. It's to discipline him. But when your kid gets arrested and you show up to the police station, maybe don't discipline him when he's being charged with stuff in front of the cop. Maybe just be like, let's stay silent until your lawyer gets here. And I was kind of surprised Scott wasn't his lawyer because of Franco.
Oh, good point. Huh.
He
That
should probably
mightn't have
call.
worked. That wouldn't have worked out. I don't know. I feel like that would have made things worse.
With Scott? Why?
How could he?
Anyways, I mean, obviously, I hope Cam gets out of it. Today, we saw him writing a letter to the judge. And I mean, it does sound quite remorseful what he's written so far, but he has been so good to his brothers this
Oh
week.
my God, those brotherly scenes, like my heart just melted. Like I love Cam as it is, but they're just showing him
Yeah.
in like a different way. And I was just like, and especially with Aiden and what he's going through, and just like
Hmm.
the whole brotherly bond, and them not really having a lot of parental guidance apart from like Franco, and just seeing them together was just awesome.
I love how you said parental guidance aside from Franco. And what I was going to say was, you know, a lot of the times Carly comes out with these lines when she's parenting her kids that we kind of mental note, be like, oh, that was good. That was so good. But then Cam this week, I'm like, oh my God, Liz should really take parenting advice from Cam because he's handling his brothers so well. Like when Aiden asked him today, how do you get people to like you? I was like, I don't know. How
Oh,
do you get people to
I'm
like you?
not
I'm like, what is
crying
the answer
again.
to that? And then when he said, "Oh, it's there's a secret. It's like yourself." I'm like, "That is excellent advice." It
Life
was
lessons
it was
from
it was
Cam.
right. It was just really really sweet. And I mean, obviously they're painting him in this. They're basically making him the man that Jocelyn would want to be with.
Oh, and you said this before.
Yeah, I'm
And
just repeating myself.
no, I just like it reminds me of like it's not just this week. It's all they've been sprinkling it in, and like
Yeah.
it's just extra this week.
It is. And did you notice? So like we have him being the person she wants him to be, but finally, and I did say this one, I'm not good at predicting things, but I did say this would be part of how Jocelyn would react to everything was her intense fight with Jason this week and finally
Oh.
admitting that
Hmm.
she can't get mad at him, but she can get mad at everyone else. She can get mad at Cam, she can get mad at Jason, but she just can't get mad at the one person she is mad at because he's sick for lying to her.
That scene when she was yelling at Jason and him kind of tearing up as
Yes.
she sang to him was unbelievable. Like that for me was like a standout scene, like incredible.
It was really good. And I just find that he tears up a lot more now.
Yeah.
It was really emotional. And I mean, that's his goddaughter, and it was a really tough thing. And they're talking about serious stuff. Like, she's a young girl, but she's bringing up some really hard things, and he had a hard choice to make. But as usual, I think if you give Jason a minute, he typically makes the right choice, and he did. In keeping it
Exactly.
wasn't a fun thing for him to do, but he did do the right thing.
And I loved Carly's kind of peeking through in the background, and Joss is so Carly. We've said this before, so it was
Oh
just interesting
yeah.
to see her yelling at Jason as opposed to like Carly getting upset with not with him, but like at a situation, and seeing how that all unfolded. It was really kind of cool to see like the generational change and Jason being there and all of that.
It is too, because it is like you said, generational. The people who watch it and also the people on the show. So there is something weird and cool that sticks out when you're like, whoa, who is this mini Carly having this kind of interaction like that? And I think that's, like you said too, it was really intense, and it was such an amazing performance. His eyes were watering. I think that's exactly it. It was just really emotional and shocking, and I think it took us aback that we didn't expect such an intense emotional moment in today's kind of really nice Christmas Eve episode.
Yeah, very cool.
Just one thing about that interaction.
Hmm.
Did, did I get that wrong, or did Joss actually call Cameron dumb?
I think she did.
I was like, he's
Young
not.
or something like that, like just like a young
I
teenager
I had
type.
to rewind, and I mean, like, I didn't even heard her say young. I feel like she said dumb first, but anyways, I was just sort of like, wait a minute, let's just. He was put in like an awful situation, and he handled it
Yes,
super well, given he doesn't have the many years of life experience as an adult.
exactly. No, I agree.
Okay, so not only was there Christmas Eve this week at the Corinthos house, there was also a naming ceremony. And basically, what that means is a lot of pop up of sketchy Brad and Wiley. And obviously, Lucas is really happy. So I don't know. Do you think this baby switch storyline is
It
going to be resolved anytime soon? It seems to be bubbling back up.
it is, and what I thought was really funny though, just to jump to Joss, she's like, "What is this hipster event we're going to?"
Yeah, I know. It's really cute when you see them together, because she's like a teenager. So she was in that moment at the ceremony, and she was on Christmas Eve when she started asking about herself. It was very cute. Like, they were all acting their role in the family.
Yeah, it was very sweet, but I definitely think this whole thing is bubbling up because now we for sure know Willow's situation, part of her
Yeah.
situation.
So
That
we were
was like,
right.
oh, yes. And that was really well played. And her emotion and when she was talking to Julian and looking at the pictures. So here's the thing, like, yes, they had that conversation, and she's going to, like, the last scene was them all at the hospital at the same time. Like, this is going to come to a head. She's going to find out. Michael's going to find out. I think it's going to happen way sooner than later. Like, it's not in the background any longer.
Okay, so my question is this. Like, Michael hasn't talked about Wiley to
I
her?
know, right?
I feel like he
I don't
talks
think
about
so. I
him.
believe there's a name. Like, I don't think she really knows his association to people because he talks about a baby, babe, but I don't necessarily know, sorry, if he addresses the babe by name.
Okay. Okay. So that's going to be interesting, because yes, they're all going to be there together on, like, from where she is now in the hospital. Okay,
Yeah.
so the thing there is, you feel like it's going to come out sooner than later. Everyone's together in this one event, and so basically she is Willow. Willow is now privy to more information because of her interaction with Julian. So how did you feel, like, before we get into that, how did you feel when you saw her look at Julian, like when they were at Charlie's?
Oh, I knew instantly. Like, she just looked uncomfortable, and he was just like, huh. And just the way they looked at each other, I knew that it was her.
Yeah, that was really, really intense. But now I'm trying to think, did we predict that she was the adoptive mother, or was it Johnny?
Oh, I don't know. Let's say it's us.
I think it was him, but I'm gonna say that it was us as well. So we have those scenes. Everything is confirmed, so that's kind of amazing that we were right about that. So you think that it's gonna come out, but I mean, do you think Obrecht's gonna play a role in this coming out?
Huh. I don't think. Maybe because she could probably run some tests.
Well, because she had that conversation with Maxie, and she is the one who actually knows his baby is alive. Like, right now, Willow
Right. I
knowing.
totally forgot about that.
Okay. Okay.
Tell me,
because
what does she have to
because Willow,
do?
she's the adoptive mom, but everyone's going to assume she is the biological mother, so that still doesn't lead anybody to realize that the baby is actually Michael's. And I completely forgot until Maxie was having that conversation with Obrecht. And I like that because part of me was like, what reason did she even have to mention Michael in that moment? But the fact that she did, we know that it must be leading somewhere, and that this we're chugging along with this baby switch storyline. But it was just really interesting Obrecht's reaction, because even in that moment, I was like, oh my gosh, that is so true, because she did bump into Nell and she is the one to have delivered his baby. And the fact that she has that bit of information saying that when Maxie said the baby was stillborn, she knows for a fact that that wasn't true at all.
So true. Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So I have a few comments from Twitter. So this to me was freaking hilarious. I started laughing out loud. So at Debbie Harmon 10 wrote, "Nothing gets by Mutter," what she calls herself.
I
Which
love
is
it.
so true, because I mean, as we saw with the whole fake daughter Sasha thing, like she saw Valentine and she put everything together, and she hears this about Michael and she puts everything together. You know how I've been saying, like, I've been becoming a bigger and bigger fan of Obrecht, mostly because Anna's annoying me when it comes to the Peter and Obrecht stuff. So, I mean, a lot of people are fans of Obrecht, and at ND Stegal said, "I'm so glad she's back and ready to raise a little hell. Didn't take her long at all to reload her arsenal of, in quote, stuff." We have at Maggie Moisten at on Twitter as well, who said, "I'm so glad she's back. I missed her on the show. She puts life in a story," and I have to say it's kind of true. Like, she brings the funny a little bit, like how Finn and even Nina do as well. And so somebody else is pleading with her. So tell me what you think of this.
Okay.
So at Nichols95 says, "Please, Liesel, tell Michael his little boy is alive and that it's Wiley. I can't wait for that to happen. I know Lucas will hurt, but he can thank his hubby Brad for that."
Whoa! Burn,
And
burn, burn.
and it's true, because we forget the damage this is going to cause. Like, forget the fact that, like, I mean, Michael already, that is a huge damage, that he's missed out on his child. He was led to believe that his child died by Nell and by Brad. And so, and like, we forget how innocent Lucas is in all of this too.
That's true. He's gonna be heartbroken because they're also that's a very good point because they're showing a lot of scenes too with just Lucas and the baby, and that I don't find happens very often. It's
Hmm.
either like Brad and the baby or them as a family. But this
Yeah.
week there was a lot more interaction with Michael and him and the baby. Him meaning Lucas.
It's going to be really interesting, because I really wish, like, Lucas would get more airtime, and this is kind of a big story for him to have. So I am really excited to see how he's going to portray that heartbreak, because that's going to be a devastating loss, and I just don't see how his marriage to Brad can really survive that, and what that's going to mean for him.
I know. I think like Brad's gonna have to leave town. Somebody's gonna have to leave town. It's usually what
It
happens a little bit
sucks, but I
after
think
that.
they both will, because Brad and Lucas don't really, I find, get to be on the show, or they don't get a lot of a story. Like, they're often in and out. So that kind of sucks, though, because I mean, the one thing about the story coming to an end is that I am concerned that maybe Lucas won't be on.
Oh yeah, that would be a little bit of
Even
a
though he's a
loss,
doctor and they need him, I still don't
right?
know what kind of doctor he is. What kind of a doctor is he?
I don't know. You're asking the wrong person.
I know, I know. And I just find it hilarious that, of course, Michael is the godfather to the baby.
Of course, and I love the cheesy present. He's like, this present is like super sentimental. He's like, I know, it's cheesy, it's cheesy. The like footprint is so
Yeah,
cute. Ah,
it was really adorable. So I mean, I'm guessing maybe early in the new year, this storyline might come to a head a little bit, because now we have more information. We have Willow, who has more information. Obrecht has more information, so that kind of gives me confidence that she'll be around a little bit longer, especially until this storyline comes to a close.
hmm.
But man, was I a little bit sad for Julian for having to spend Christmas
Oh,
Eve alone.
me too. Like I shed a single tear when he closed the door and just like looked back at the bar like a puppy. Like I was like, aw,
I
that
know. I mean,
sucks.
come to think of it, he's probably going to go to Ava's, but that's not a fun place to be at
I
this
was like,
at this time. But another thing was, I was just surprised Alexis's alarm bell didn't go off. She was like,
I was
"Boom! I'm at
your red
Charlie's. Are you alone? Are you alone? Is everything okay, Julian?" But was he not adorable with Avery though?
so adorable. Like I like it like with Julian and when I started to tune back in and this whole change and being at Charlie's Pub, like I really like him. Like, I like his character change. And he was absolutely adorable when he brought her to work and he's like, your job is just like go and greet guests.
Did you think that this was so hilarious? Because what did she? Because when he takes her to the bar, he starts talking to her, and he says something about napping, not her, but he says something about somebody napping. And then did
Oh,
you
so
hear?
your mom can nap. So your mom
Yes,
can
your
nap.
mom can nap, but I thought it was hilarious when Avery goes, "No nap," because I don't think that was supposed to be her line, but she's a little kid and all she heard was nap. And then he's like, "Oh no, not you, no nap." And I heard her say that, and I was just dying of laughter. I'm like, that is so adorable because all I can hear is Jackson saying that too. No nap, no dodo. So I thought that was super, super cute. So, I mean, okay, one thing that we forgot to mention with the whole baby switch, Charlie's, Julian, and Willow, was that Willow had a date.
Oh, yeah. Date number 2, breakfast date. I thought it was really cute.
I loved Chase's interpretation of that breakfast date so that if it sucks, she can still salvage the rest of her day.
And I thought it was cute that we're learning more and more about her. So like she doesn't like to cook and she's like, so I decided to like let's go out for breakfast. I'm like, breakfast is like super easy.
Yeah. I mean, it was really sweet, but I mean, I'm kind of realizing now that they had a date on Christmas Eve.
I know, right?
It's a,
Interesting.
it's a bit intense. And when he started to have a conversation with her, I'm like, your life sounds really depressing, even though she didn't say much because she was reacting to a lot of things. So I am kind of excited to get to know more about her. She came off as such a goody goody at the start, but now, like, I don't know, there might be a lot of darkness underneath all of that grade school teacher ness. There might be a person under that teacher. So
A
that's
normal
gonna
human person.
so that's going to be really interesting. Like, as much as you and I were kind of rooting for Willow and Chase, I think we still are until maybe we see what it's like when she has a date with Michael. But Ellen Pilates on Instagram says that she likes Chase and Willow together, but she thinks that she'll get really close to Michael when she finally opens up in group,
I
which I
agree with
agree.
that. I totally agree with that because, like, we talked about this, I believe it was last week with Chasener. He brings in the light. He's funny. He's silly. Michael, there's a deeper connection there.
Yeah.
So definitely flip flop. Like when I saw her with Michael, when I saw Willow and Michael at the hospital, and he's like, you know what, I have time. Let's go to one of the group sessions. I was like, oh my gosh, they're connected. They're connected
They're
in our way.
Well, they're in sync, but the reason they're in sync is because she's given him information, like who's to know what would happen if she would actually open up to Chase.
Exactly. On that note, I'm just gonna pause it for a second because I didn't realize his name was Harrison. When
Harrison
she like
Chase.
looks at her phone, yeah. I was like, okay, okay, I dig it. It works.
Yeah, so she's calling him by his last name.
Yeah, which is super cute. So I'm still flipping and flopping on those two.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're gonna have to see, but ultimately, I do think she'll end up with Michael. Like we said, it might lead to a deeper relationship. But I had hypothesized a long time ago that Chase would end up with
Mm.
Lulu, and so we have Dark and Sophisticated from Instagram, who basically has a very simple opinion on it: no to Lulu and Chase. Chase and Willow should be together. So she, so she's not into the whole Lulu and Chase thing, and so we saw Lulu at the
Mhm.
police station
Oh,
with
we
some
did.
Chase.
Chase and
What did
Chase.
Yeah, what did you think about that?
I just okay, we know we like love to hate Lulu. She's also one of those characters that we're just like kind of all over a little bit. So, one of the things that you had mentioned during the week, so bring food for him, don't bring food for your cousin who's starving and almost passes out, but that's okay.
Right.
Bring food for Chase, take pictures of files, try to bribe him, then bring up Dante and his cheating or something. I can't remember which one brought it up. And then, play
Wait,
innocent.
did she talk to no, she didn't talk to Chase about that. Did she?
Yeah, I feel like it came up.
I know, I think no, it was Valerie talking to Christina about that.
It came up in two scenes.
Okay. Okay.
I just don't remember exactly what she said, but I'm pretty sure because that's why I thought it was really funny that the Dante thing is going to come to a head as well because he was brought
Yes.
with Valerie and Christina as well as simultaneously Chase and Lulu.
Yeah. So I mean, I thought that her and Val were like on speaking terms. Like I thought that they had moved past that, but I just love it, like Chase is this new guy. He was newly Dante's partner. They bonded towards the end, but he's still new. Like Chase is still new, and she's like taking him into her family, and she's never done that for Val. Like, let's be honest, aside from the fact that she slept with her husband, she wasn't nice to this girl from the start. She wasn't nice to her. Her mother had died. She literally had no one. Her aunt took her in, and she couldn't bring herself to bond with her whatsoever. And Dante did, just naturally.
True.
So, I mean, I personally think that she doesn't like her. And I don't know if it has to do with her trying so hard to be a Spencer, then come to find out she's not the only female young Spencer out there.
Ooh, that's an interesting point because I can
Yeah.
completely see how Lulu would do something like that.
Yeah. So I thought that was super hilarious that she brings absolutely no food for her cousin and doesn't realize that she has somebody else that she can kind of maybe probe for information. But the thing is, it's just the moment she walked into the police station, handed him food, and sat down with him. I'm like, ah, he slept on your couch. Like something is so gonna happen because he's asking about her relationship with Dante, and I just think that when things go bad, he'll be the one there supporting her.
I think so too.
And one Margaret 1960 on Instagram said, Lulu will totally run all over Chase. She's too stubborn for him. And I was like, I really like that because I mean, it looks like they're putting them together, but
Hmm.
then I don't actually know. Like we said, Chase is very light
Yes.
and Lulu is really special. Like she's a bit of a tornado. She doesn't always think about the other person. She's used to being with a cop, but that's about it. Like now that we're talking about like their actual personalities, I don't know how that would work, but I don't know if she would run all over Chase. He's nice, but he's also opinionated to a fault. Like even when he was trying to flirt with Willow at the start, he's just he follows the rules and he sets boundaries to a fault that it might actually get in the way of stuff.
Interesting because Lulu always does whatever she wants
Mm-hmm.
and whatever she does is right. And then he also feels that, he's a cop and that, some things are very
Rules
much
are rules.
right. Yeah, there could be some big, even if they get together, it would be interesting to see the conflict between the two of them.
Because I think there will be, and I just don't think he would take her crap. I don't.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, so that would be kind of fun to see. So, I mean, speaking of the whole police station, we kind of mentioned Obret earlier, but she was it makes me so angry that she got tricked to even come to the
I know.
PCPD.
How could she say that though? You tricked me. What could they have possibly said to her?
I know. Okay, so she's there this week, and I just felt like, why does Obrecht have to sit in the room waiting for transport with Finn, Anna, and Jordan? Isn't that like another form of torture? Like, why? Why does she have to wait with them? Does she
Well,
not
what
have
does
any
Finn
rights
have?
to be like, I
Right.
don't
What
want to be
does Finn have to exactly?
annoyed?
And what does Finn have to do with anything involved with
I'm
the police station? Like, why is he there?
and Jordan let it happen. So like I don't know what that was about and I don't understand why Anna needs Obrecht to understand anything of what she's doing. Like when she's trying to talk to Obrecht and be like, you came back to save your daughter and I'm guessing you can understand that I'm doing this for my son. She doesn't care. Like she doesn't
I know. It's
care. Like
weird.
her son's dead. Like at the end of the day, like her son died. Just don't understand why Anna needs her to understand so badly. You're just on different sides on this one. Like you were frenemies at one point, but now her son's dead. And so she doesn't really have any sympathy for you.
And that's the part, like, I agree with you. Like, I don't understand why Anna, because it's not the first time she tries to get her on the same page as her and have her sympathize or like exactly that. Like, we're not sure what she's looking for exactly. And she's
I
mentioned
don't
it a
know.
couple of times. Like, I'm having a hard time understanding the purpose of that conversation.
I don't know if she just wants Obrecht to like her, but I mean, I think we both knew that Peter, well, I mean, obviously he would not do it for Valentine,
Mm.
but listening to Maxie, it was obvious that he had changed his mind once they were together in the Metro Court.
Yes.
I think on one hand, he kind of did himself a favor because the whole thing with Maxie and Peter, I had said a while ago that I feel like Obrecht will be that wedge between the two of them. Always will be. Whether it gets in the way of them starting something or whether they get together and it comes up while they're in a relationship. I felt she might be the thing that will always be between them. But by letting it go, he's really giving them a real chance. And he was serious about it. He didn't just not press charges. He had that whole conversation with Anna, really, truly about letting go. Because the thing is, he's not just being like, oh, I'll let this go. It's a random person. No, no, no. If he wants to be with Maxie, that's Nathan's mother. That's the baby's grandmother. Like they're going to be in each other's lives. And knowing that, he still let it go.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. That's some serious forgiveness and love for somebody.
But it was just so amazing and made me kind of like evil happy was the fact that he was willing to just be all good with Obrecht and with Anna. He's like, meh, no. She tortured me for like a few weeks of captivity, and
Bro.
I'm willing to give her a chance in my life. You, not so much. And he went on about like forgiveness and all that stuff. And I was like, and I get it. Obviously, that would hurt Anna hearing him talk about forgiveness and knowing they still don't have a relationship. But I was just like, did you really have to be lame and ask that? Is there any for me? I was like, did you have to say anything? I think he knew without her having to say that and push. Because you know how I feel about that. And I mean, I understand it was like right there and it's a question for her to have for him. But I just felt like he knew you were hurt. And Peter is really kind. And I think he would have felt that anyway.
Exactly. Every time she turns into this mush, we want a puke ball.
Yeah.
And just because exactly that. He's smart, he's kind, he's gonna get it. Like he gets it. He's working towards it. Give him time. Give
He's
him
with
space.
He's with Maxie, and Maxie is her goddaughter. It's going to happen. He never said it wouldn't. You know, even when he talks to Maxie, he's like, I don't not like her or some crap like that, you know? So, I mean, he would have been on the way to having a relationship with her. There was no way he could have a relationship with Maxie and hope to have a relationship with Robin and have a relationship with all these people connected to Anna without at some point arriving at her or softening to her. I just felt like it was inevitable. You just need to give him time. It was just so annoying. But I really enjoyed him sort of screwing with all of them when he let Obrecht go. But I just didn't know what I thought about this. You know, it's one thing for him to give that speech about forgiveness and
Mhm.
Obrecht, but then it was another to say he wanted to sort of do what Nathan would have wanted. And I'm just like, I'm pretty sure Nathan would have wanted to be with his own wife and not like
Yeah.
have and and not hope that you would be a better person for her. But anyways, like I don't know. It's just
Valid point.
it was
Valid.
just weird. And I mean, and I like them together. I do. I know the whole situation is awkward. And I think his statement about Nathan kind of reminded me why it's awkward and why there are a lot of people who find the whole thing so weird. I mean, I personally don't really blame him for Nathan's death. He was very super indirectly involved in the situation. And how Nathan died was extremely like it was such an accident. Like it was so like random him showing up in the elevator the way that he did and getting shot by Faison. So I don't really blame him, but I do like what this person had to say. Sankey Jackie on Instagram said there are many characters in General Hospital who made terrible choices and yet they are forgiven. Peter is most certainly not the only one on that list, just saying. And I kind of agree. And I think like unlike other people, like I mean, I don't know what Ava was trying to do being a good person. That didn't really work. It totally went against all laws of nature. But he's doing a really good job. Like he was never a bad guy. He was raised by a bad person.
Yes.
And, you know, even the whole thing with Jason, it just sounds like for a person who was raised that way, that was still them kind of being nice. They just didn't know how to be. Like, he did keep Jason alive. Yes, he kept him alive to kill his father at some point, but he did keep him alive. So I just felt like, I don't know, did the best he could, but there was always some good there, I think. Is
Yes,
that crazy?
definitely. No, it's the world of poor Charles is totally not crazy. It works in the logic of what is working. So he has found his goodness. He was raised by an incredibly evil man, but that doesn't make him evil, and he has shown that he is good.
Yeah, so that's what I think. He's definitely earned being with Maxie, basically. So he does take Anna up on her Christmas invitation, which is so him because he's so nice.
Yes, exactly. And helping with the gifts and everything. Like he was so cute and she had her mush face on and it was just, but it was all very nice. I tried to maintain my, this is a Christmas episode.
Yeah, like it was. I do like the Christmas episode. I found it was really like it was just very sweet and casual.
Hmm.
Like it wasn't too much. It was just I liked the way they portrayed it. It was just quiet moments with family is how they had it. It's always funny to see who's on their guest list, especially somebody like Anna. Like in the past, she would have had Robin and Mac, and it would have been more of a family thing, but hers is more of a friend thing. And so it was interesting her having Peter there, and he comes, and she wasn't super lame, but then she gets really lame when he finds a bowl of cards. She's like, "Oh, you found those? It's a bowl of cards." And like, were you not just wrapping gifts there 5 seconds ago? And now all the gifts are gone, all the wrapping paper is gone, and now there's just a bowl of cards that says, "Oh, thanks, Anna, for this." It's like, what? And then you're like, oops, you found those things. I was just like, come on, don't be lame. Stop being lame. Just be cool. Play hard to
I
get.
know.
You know I'm a fan of that. If you want your
I know
adult
you are.
children to be in contact with you, just play hard to get, pretend you have a life, and they'll come to you.
So true. Dad for the win.
Oh yeah, that was the part that I thought was the most lame. So there was the card, but the fact that he showed up, that she called it a Christmas miracle, I was like, it's not a Christmas miracle. There's like a hospital full of sick kids, and you call Peter showing
Right?
up to your house Christmas miracle. Okay.
Super lame.
So that was where I was like, you're lame. Speaking of miracles, I'm just wondering, so Nina just forgave him super suddenly? Forgave Valentine?
OMG.
Did you feel like you missed 20 episodes and you're like, what's happening? Is she for real? It
Yeah,
just happened.
it just happened, and then they went right into the love scene. I was like, okay, so this is happening now. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm on
and
board.
I'm like, okay, all right, you can do that with your belt. I was just really
I know. I was like,
I,
all right.
I was just like, I don't know, it felt really sudden, and okay, and so there was one episode, I think it might have been Thursday's episode. So it starts with them in bed and she's late.
Yeah.
So we have that. And then the show goes on, and then he gets that call from Obrecht. So now he's like, I don't have to be an honest person. You're mine forever. And ha 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 ha, evil laugh. It was really kind of threatening though when he was talking to Nina and he was like, I have you now. I'm never letting you go. And I'm like, that's Cassadine romantic, I guess. And so, okay, so then that happens, and then all of a sudden we're back to a scene of them in bed, and I actually thought that the episode restarted. I'm like, what just happened? I was so confused because the scene looked exactly like how the show started. And then I heard them talking, and I'm like, oh, all right. But yeah, so that kind of took like threw me. I didn't see that coming. Like she was just a completely different person around him.
I know. For a lack of I don't know how to say this appropriately, but I will do my best.
Uh huh.
Okay, so
Go for it.
so it just seemed like two adults that just have had a bit of a dry spell, and there was a bit of a
Yes,
spark,
I did
and
think that.
let's just have at it.
That is exactly what I thought she was doing at the start when she was like, "Oh, why aren't you not kissing me?" Because when she went to kiss him and he pulled back, part of me was like, "You shouldn't have done that. Now you handed him control." And
Yeah,
that's sort of how Valentine plays. So at first, that's exactly what I thought it was, like dry spell, and she was gonna sleep with him, which is, a bit mean considering that she knows that he loves her. But then
I
again,
know.
he has a fake daughter out there for her, so whatever. But then when she was all, no, 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 we can like sleep together and then keep doing it and then be together. I was just so taken aback. Part of me wasn't even following that she was saying, I want us to be together still. I was like, is she going this far just to be in Charlotte's life? Like, I was like, does this have anything to do with Charlotte? So I was really confused and I was asking a lot of questions to myself. And then when all of
And what did yourself say?
once Self saw the love scenes, I was like, all right, no more questions.
All questions silenced.
I got it. Another couple that's the opposite of what they were doing, Jason and Sam. So
Talk
Jason
about
and
dry spell and cold showers.
I know, I have no idea
But
how he's surviving this. Like on Stone Cold and Jackal, even him, he was saying, this is ridiculous. It's been like 7 freaking years already. But he's had a love scene on the show. So I was like dying of laughter because, like, I mean, it's being dragged out. Clearly, they have some kind of a plan here, and they're going to end up together. It's just at this point, it's a bit of a joke because it's kind of really long. And so when he's at her house, and then she's like showing him a stocking that their kid made. Why are you like gyrating your body all like I want to have sex with you, but then none of this is happening, and you're showing him stockings and stuff. Like when I talk to someone, even if it's my husband or just like I'm not all like squirming my body all up in his face. Like when I talk to Johnny, I don't think I almost kiss him in conversation and then not. Like, but when you're
brush
that
up
close,
against him.
no, it's like if you're that close, you give a kiss and you continue your conversation. So I was just dying of laughter. What are you doing? Even your body is going against you. It's like, come on, Sam, just get a little closer. Just get a little closer. So
Oh
stupid.
my God. It was really funny. I loved their conversation though about like what do you want in your stocking? And he's like, you like something
I
cheesy like
know.
that.
I knew he was gonna say that, but then he's like, I just want to spend time with you and the
I know.
kids. And I was
Blah,
like,
blah, blah.
ah, guys. But they're going to be working on this case together. She finally told him.
which I think will bring them closer together if that's even physically possible.
I don't even care. Like, I want them to be together. I know they'll be together. This has been my reaction for the past while. Unless something happens, like, I don't really need to talk about it because it's ridiculous. And I mean, I loved what Christina said. I really
I was
felt like
gonna
she was reflecting the audience. I'll let you talk about it.
No, but you copied my line. I literally, that was my line. She was
Oh, that was it?
referencing
Okay.
of us, the audience. Like literally, that's what I wrote down.
Good, good. But it was just really annoying. But then I got confused because why was Sam giving 20 billion excuses? I thought she knew why she was doing this. I thought it was about, like, finding herself and all that crap. So why was she suddenly listing Alexis as a reason and Drew as a reason? I think Drew would be freaking pissed if he found out that he's the reason at this point in time that she's not with Jason.
I agree. It's like she's looking for excuses. She doesn't even remember anymore what the reason is.
Which is why it didn't make any sense to me, because she got to a point later where she was like, I just want to make sure that I don't lose myself in him, which is really, really valid. And that was what I thought from the start, which was the whole point, where she wanted to be on her own and she wanted to feel solid, because when she was with Drew, she was constantly anxious and unsure and constantly reassuring him that she couldn't really put a lot of time in for herself. So I did think that that was valid, wanting to feel more solid within before jumping into a relationship and wanting to make sure she doesn't lose herself. So I just kind of got annoyed. Like, the reason. Why are you dancing around it? Why are you making up all this other crap for?
I agree. Like we said, maybe this is something we move on from and then
Thank you.
tackle it
Yeah.
later. Because like we have like I have zero
Nothing to say about
comment on
that.
this, honestly.
So Christina was, like, clearly upset with her, but I don't think she read the situation wrong. Valerie too was doing the whole
Oh.
body gyrating thing where she was like
Mhm.
wiggling and worming her body near Christina. And so I feel really bad because Christina's in a really bad place. And I understand Valerie's confusion for sure. She was really thrown because the last time she made out with Christina, she was doing it as a friend to help her out. And so I guess, there was no feelings attached, nothing really came of it. But
Right.
then this is a different thing. It's a friend. It could mean something more. It was more of a real kiss, and that really freaked her out. But I didn't think it was fair.
Oh,
She kind of used Christina's worst thing she thinks of herself and
yes.
just gave it back to her like she was out to it was about Christina, and it really, really wasn't. I
It
don't
really
think.
wasn't. No, I don't think so either. I was really frustrated with that scene and then kind of laughed because it's like, okay, they did the whole breathing thing and I rolled my eyes. I was like, here we go again with the breathing thing. And then that happened. And then when she reached over to kiss her, I'm sorry, but if you don't want to kiss somebody, it really doesn't take that long to react.
No, like she could have moved away at any point in time. So,
Mhm.
and it just kind of sucks because Christina is too busy feeling bad for herself that she's not even taking the time to think about that Valerie did kiss her back.
For a while, a
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. That is true. So I mean, at first, like with the whole cult thing, I kind of find it interesting that a lot of different people are getting to know about it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting to me. Don't know where they'll come in. Like Valerie's a cop, so it's interesting that she's getting to know what Christina is getting into. But I just found the whole interaction with them a little bit odd. Like when she was like, "Oh, Christina, I haven't seen you for a while." Christina got defensive. It was weird. It was weird. Like the
Yeah.
friction part, like the actual conflict, I didn't understand what that was about. But anyways, so I guess we were right because we did think from the start that something was going to be happening with Valerie and Christina, but then Daisy showed up, and so we thought, oh, okay, maybe Daisy was a new love interest, but she's just there as I guess Christina is her mark as opposed to a love interest.
Yes, that's a very good point because it's like she knows, or, that Sam is her sister. She knows about Sam I just don't understand what the connection is still. And if she just wants
Yeah.
to recruit Sam to the cult, like what is the
I
ultimate goal
well, right. I don't know if it's cult based that
here?
she's enacting whatever she's got to do from that book, or if this is elaborate. Like, I don't know how elaborate it is, basically, because she's in this cult, she's volunteering, and then she's clearly after Sam. So, yeah, you're right. It's hard to know how connected these things are. And
Yeah.
so, okay, so she's already mad as hell. So, Christina's already pissed off. Did you understand at all what Alexis's point was when she started
No,
talking to Christina? I was
no,
like,
I
what?
was so lost. I was like, okay, is she saying like, did she overhear the conversation? Could you speak to the fact of like that actually happened as a witness? Like, I
That's
didn't
what
know
I
where it was
thought
going.
too. I thought she was just asking her from a witness standpoint, like, hey, Cam said this. Can you corroborate that? Was he there? Was he there with Joss? But I guess I can kind of see why she would blow up, because her mom, not like, she's not saying it's horrible, but she kind of insinuated that this random kid gets in trouble and somehow it was her fault.
Like, you're shitty and the situation's shitty. It must be connected.
Yeah, you were in the vicinity. Did you happen to inspire people to do dumb crap? I was just like, oh, yeah, I kind of felt for her there. I was just like, what is happening? Why are you saying these things?
Oh, terrible, terrible.
It was
Alexis.
terrible. Okay, I'm sorry, but like, so Daisy volunteers, right? She
Yeah.
knows where she volunteers, right? Because I got a little annoyed. Like, they kind of covered it in the scene when they were asking her, like, what's the matter with you? And I was thinking the same thing. Like, if you see two patients going on a bus,
Yeah.
nothing, like, no, and I get it. They're off campus, so she thinks that they got permission.
But
But you
still,
also
just
know
take
that
the
they have
bus.
Alzheimer's. And if she's the one who ordered the newspaper for Yvonne, then you do know, like, she's not outpatient like Mike. And if Mike also has Alzheimer's, why would she be released into his care? For a
Exactly.
person who's all like, I like helping, she goes to see, like, Christina's like, oh, someone's drama at my volunteering place. What? I was like, you're so stupid. So much drama. Like, two people's lives were in danger, and you're just like, I just volunteer here. I don't know stuff. Why is
I
everybody
don't, I
so
don't need
mad?
I
Like,
don't
oh
need
my
to help
gosh.
these people. They're not in my cult. I'm only going to help the people
Oh.
that I'm trying to con or in my cult.
Oh my gosh, seriously. But that whole situation, like, I mean, I
Oof.
feel so bad for Marcus. Like, I understand it's his wife. And, look, it's painful for everybody all the way around. And Carly does keep trying to remind Sonny it's his wife, though. So it is a different kind of hurt. It's a different kind of pain. But to think that Mike, like, orchestrated everything
Oh,
and that he's pretend, I was just, this is completely ludicrous. The fact that he even used the argument with Sunny is that his Alzheimer's is not as advanced. I'm just like,
oh my
wow,
gosh.
okay. Like, I completely was with Carly when she was asking that maybe we can all have some compassion for one another. And it's one thing for Marcus to think the worst of Mike, but it just kind of surprised me that they even bothered asking Mike, are you pretending to forget that she
Uh,
has a husband? I was like, that's really shitty. Like, the fact that you said, hey, you lied once to the DA and to Jordan, but are we really going to pretend that this thing that happened a long time ago, that Mike is in the same state and that hasn't really deteriorated since then?
I
Are
know
we really going to
that's
pretend like it's the same?
I agree. Like, that's exactly what I was going to say. They've witnessed all the changes and what's going on. How could this even be brought to light? Like, the poor man is struggling and just trying to, he found a little bit of happiness
Mm-hmm.
within everything that's happening. And then, so I'm watching all of this story and how all this unfolds. And I know we're going to hop into some other stuff with our favorite lady that we love to hate also.
Oh,
But
Margot,
before we
what?
get there, I was like, Stella needs to talk to Alexis about her superpower about being there when Marcus is in trouble.
She really needs a lesson in that, because I think it would be good for everybody, because he's being horrible, and if Stella can be there to rein him in, and he would listen to her, because Mike is her patient. And I don't know, she does need to be there. I really do think she's probably the one person that could help calm him down.
You
And it was
can't
really
see
nice
me
of Jordan to fill her in.
exactly, and you can't see me, but I'm nodding feverishly, agreeing with you because I 100% think that Stella would really help the situation.
Like, I don't even know how everyone stayed calm when he was, like, insisting on pressing charges in an already, like, tense situation. And I'm like, how, first of all, even the police, like, they have on record that Mike has Alzheimer's. Like, can you just be like, we know this person, we already know their condition, we have it all documented? It doesn't make any sense. Like, when Margot explained it to him, I was like, thank you, because this is a legal proceeding, you'll have to prove this. How can you prove this?
Exactly. Okay, so are we ready to jump into that part of the situation?
Go for it.
Okay, so first of all, scene with Carly and Jason speaking about Margot was just intense. She's like, if Sonny goes to her because he likes weak women, I'm not taking him back. So that was like, huh, they're actually saying it out loud because we talked about this like weeks and weeks ago. about how, do we think this is the direction we're going in with these characters? And then the whole, like, she's the one who found Mike. Margot did, she eased the situation, was talking about jazz artists. She was actually going to the jazz club. Like,
Yeah,
and Sunny
for
was all grateful, blah, blah, blah.
But as we were talking about Carly and Jason, it really was an intense conversation. And I was a little bit surprised that they were really explicit about the whole thing. What she is
Mhm.
correct in is definitely his pattern. And in their anniversary special, where they released a bunch of Sunny and Carly episodes, the one where they first hooked up, she
Yeah.
does sort of say that to him, that you're into these fragile, delicate girls. And that is something she had accused him of when they first met. But the thing is, she said, like, if he does this again, she kind of insinuated that he had cheated before. And he's
Yeah.
never cheated on her, from what I can recall.
Maybe it's just situational, like all the women he's been with before.
And then, like,
In
maybe,
between.
yeah, so right, anyway, but I get it. If you cheated on her, like, at this point you've been married 5 times, like, it's a kind of a hard thing at this point to get over. But look, I find it difficult to believe that he would do that. He thought he cheated on her when Nell made him believe that, and he felt horrible. So he actually knows what that experience would be like, and he knows what he would be losing. And some people had, oh yeah, so before we kind of keep going with this conversation, just about Carly and Jason, so we know that they've always been close, but this is my impression. In the past, we know that they were close, and we definitely know that they had a bond. But the way that it was constantly portrayed, even though it wasn't that, it was a mutual friendship, but they always would show, more Carly being the one after him, more Carly being the one to instigate the friendship, and sort of Jason just following along and saying, no, 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 like, I want to be doing this. But since he's been back, it's been like love on both sides, like extremely mutual. And he's been like very much wanting to be there and wanting to be there for her and being the only one to believe her when no one else would. Like, it's just different the way that it is with them. And you and I did talk about this. Like, if ever they were together, that would be like explosive. Like, it would ruin a lot of lives. Well,
Yeah.
not ruin a lot of lives, but it would shake up a lot of things. But anyways, I
Mhm.
just had commented this week that their friendship love is just really, really intense since he's been back. And so Terry Kershaw on Instagram said, I have thought they might get together if things go bad with other love. So, kind of what we were saying, like, things would have to be shaken up, or everybody would have to be broken up for them to sort of, like, something big would have to happen for them to sort of end up together. And Gerald Lee Grande said, I say, let Carly and Jason become more than friends. It's time. Whoa. And if you like, I don't like, if you go back to a Stone Cold and the Jackal when he has Carly on, I'm sorry, Laura Wright, it's really funny to hear the actors talk, because apparently, because like, we know that they've been close and friends, but I mean, I'm kind of like pro Jason and Sam, I'm pro Sunny and Carly, but the actors themselves have been saying also, when are these two going to get together finally?
I love
And
that.
that was so
Oh my
cool that
gosh.
they're also saying that. And then we have Princess Deja Rosemary said, I love this one a lot. Every Carly needs a Jason.
Aw.
So where is mine? And then I also had a last thing. So I had a conversation with Neela Anthony this week, and so her comment was hilarious. She wrote, I'm so not gonna take him back if he cheats on us with Marco." And I think a lot of people feel that if Sunny were to cheat, he'd be cheating on all of us. But like, so in our conversation together, this is my take on this. I do think that they're pushing the envelope. I don't think he'll actually cheat on her, but I do think he's sort of crossing the line and sort of allowing Margot to get close to him. But what I think might happen is, we had talked about this. We had talked about when the whole Ryan storyline comes to a head. So there might be danger before he's really caught. And I just think that Carly might be caught up in that danger. And I think that if she does, that's the moment where Sunny will kind of maybe snap out of things and remember that she's his wife and not Margot.
I think so too. I think that's all going to play a role in it. And like, how did you feel at the end of it when she calls Sunny and says something to the effect that, like, I missed the show?
uh,
And it's like, what are you gonna do about it? I was like, ew. I just kept looking at the screen like, ew,
Well, I mean,
ew.
her whole demeanor, like her whole everything has changed. And I mean, to be honest, like when she kind of flirted with him, I really wasn't surprised. Like the moment she spoke to Jordan and said my Tinder date canceled or some
Hmm.
crap, I knew that if, like, when she had contacted Sunny, that somehow it would come up that she was there on a date. So once again, just taking her out of her role as a law enforcement person and more of like a person. would come up. So she didn't exactly mention her date, but the fact that she kind of talked about the show, like I really wasn't surprised at this point. Annoyed, but wasn't surprised.
Ugh.
And then Sunny, how he was telling Jason how grateful he was.
Mm-hmm.
Ew. But it's like even when you see like Jason's face, even he's like, what the? And I mean, I love that he promised Carly. And I mean, it's really good that she snuck that promise in there before Sunny can come in and try to get Jason to not say anything. But that's the thing. I think Sunny is a little far gone, kind of like how Jason says, you know, like he's never been this vulnerable before, given everything he's currently going through with his dad. So I don't think Sunny sees what he's doing. So I think that if he did go too far and Jason observed it, like I don't even think he would be lucid enough to be, hey, Jason, don't tell Carly. Like I don't think he even knows what's happening.
No, I believe that too. Like he's just kind of in this moment, mourning the slow losses of his dad, dealing with that situation and trying to be there for somebody because of what he did before. Like it's really kind of messed up. And I agree. He doesn't see what's going on.
He doesn't. But on a more fun note, turns out he has a Santa suit. Wonder why.
Right, because I'm like, oh, are we gonna see Sonny dressed up as Santa? I was seriously disappointed that he wasn't dressed up as Santa. I'm not gonna lie.
I thought that would have been cute, but I thought it was really sweet that Drew, well, basically that they were all connected and everybody was there, and that Drew and him are reconnecting. He went to visit Oscar. Drew called in for a favor to help out. But I'm like, is this like a rich person thing? Let me call this rich person. Maybe they'll know somebody. Or was this like Drew knew he had a Santa suit because maybe they know Sunny in a way we don't, and we don't understand why he has. And maybe I don't want to continue this conversation and leave it
Right?
all warm and fuzzy and Christmas Eve-ish, and it was
True.
sweet at the hospital. And I love the story. I got to get that book for myself to be reading to the kids around Christmas time. I love that Cam and Joss were the elves. I loved Oscar trying to help out that little girl and trying to kind of make the best of his time there.
So when he was helping out that little girl, part of me is because remember last week I had looked up Oscar, like the real person, the actor,
Yeah.
and that he sings like on his Instagram. I had no idea that he and he's a really good singer.
He
So I
is.
had that in my head. And when he was talking to the girl, for some reason, like just the way he was standing and she was sitting on the stair, I'm like, oh my God, he's totally gonna break into song right now. I was like, do it, do it.
That would have been
Um,
hilarious. But you know what? They have a nurse's ball, and he
mhm.
does it. He didn't do his style. I think he just because he did. He sang with Joss last time, but they did a totally different kind of thing.
Interesting.
So I'd love to see him sing. I wonder if they could do that. That would be really cool if he actually sang one of his own songs at the next nurse's ball. Because I
That would
think
be
he'll be there.
amazing.
I think he'll be there at
Yeah.
the nurse's ball, driving his new car. His parents got him.
Right? Lucky duck.
Yeah. So speaking of cars and driving, I'm wishing you a safe drive to Montreal
Oh,
tomorrow.
thank you. I can't wait to just get there. I wish I could just blink and teleport there. But yes, we'll be driving 8 long hours with 2 kids and 2 dogs, and it will be great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have a glass of wine for me ready when I get there.
Yeah, better you than me. So well, so instead of wishing you a good weekend, I'm wishing both of us a good weekend and everybody else a good weekend and a Merry Christmas and a happy holidays and all that
Yes,
stuff.
happy holidays, Merry Christmas, joyous time with your family. Don't forget, you don't have to say yes to every occasion, and make sure you have a good time and relax.
Have fun, everybody. See you soon, Mel.
Bye.
Bye.